In this lecture, I'm going to discuss accessing actors within the level blueprint. So to really get use out of the level blueprint, you're going to want to be able to access the actors in your level in order to be able to read their data, make decisions based on that data, and to manipulate the actors in different ways. In order to get access to an actor within the level blueprint, that actor needs to be selected in the level editor when you right-click in the event graph of the blueprint. So for example, if I select this table here, and then open the level blueprint, and then right-click in the event graph, at the top of the menu, I'm given some options relating to the table. I can create an event based on the actor, I can call a function on the actor, and I can also get a reference to the actor. Note that for this to work, the context-sensitive checkbox needs to be checked. Also note that you can only do this in the level blueprint and not in a blueprint class, which we'll be learning about in another lecture. So I'm going to go ahead and get a reference to this actor. And now I will be able to read and modify the actor's properties. For example, I could change its visibility to make it disappear. So I'm going to right click to bring up the menu and then search for the set visibility function. And I'm actually going to need to turn off context sensitivity in order to have the menu bring it up. So now I want to select the set visibility function that's in the rendering category. So now I can set the visibility of the static mesh actor by connecting it to the target pin of the set visibility node. And you'll notice that a node was automatically created between the two. This is because the set visibility function technically sets the visibility of components, not the actors themselves. So this node is just getting the root component of the static mesh actor, which is the static mesh component, so that can be passed in as the target component for this node. Okay, so the new visibility boolean will determine whether this node will set the visibility of the target component to true or false. So I'm going to leave this unchecked so that it will set the visibility of the static mesh component to false and essentially make the table disappear. And then the propagate to children boolean specifies whether or not the children of the component should have their visibility set as well. This static mesh component doesn't have any children, so I'll just leave this unchecked. So now I'm going to connect the event begin play node to a delay node and set the delay for 2 seconds. And then I'm going to connect the delay node to the set visibility node. So now if I compile and go back to the game, you can see that a couple of seconds after it begins, the table will disappear, almost as quickly as Activision releases Call of Duty games. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate creating an event from an actor. I'm going to place a trigger volume into my level, and I'm going to create an event for when another actor starts overlapping with that volume, and another event for when an actor who is overlapping with the volume stops overlapping with it. And I'm going to use these events to make the table disappear and reappear when the player enters and exits the trigger volume. So I'm going to rename this actor to table trigger. And then with it selected, I'm going to go back to the level blueprint and right click in the event graph. I'm going to check the context sensitive checkbox. Then I'm going to expand the add event for table trigger category and then expand collision, and I'm going to add an on actor begin overlap event for the trigger volume. Then I'm going to do the same thing again, except this time I'm going to select on actor end overlap. So now I have an event for when something enters the trigger and an event for when something exits the trigger volume. So now I'm going to break this existing connection by right-clicking on one of the pins and selecting Break All Pin Links. And now I'm going to connect the onActor Begin Overlap event to this Set Visibility node so that when the player enters the trigger volume, it will make the table disappear. And now I'm going to select these 3 nodes by using the left mouse button to draw a marquee around them. And with them selected, I'm going to use Control-C and Control-V to copy and paste them, just like you would in a text editor. And now I'm going to have this node set the visibility of the target to true so that this will make the table reappear. And I'm going to connect this to the onActor End Overlap event. So now if I compile and start my level, you will see that when I enter the space defined by my trigger volume, the table disappears. And when I leave that space, the table reappears. Alright, so that is how to get a reference to your actors and how to create events from them. And that will conclude the lecture on accessing actors within the level blueprint.